For today's 5-minute psychology, over-explaining. If you talk too much when someone questions you, it's not because you're a bad communicator, it's because your nervous system never learned that a short answer was safe. Over-explaining isn't a habit. It's a nervous system that never felt safe going quiet. You give a simple answer, and then you keep going. You add context nobody asked for. You explain your explanation. You finish speaking and immediately wonder if you said too much, or not enough, or the wrong thing in the wrong order. The extra sentences feel necessary, not optional. This isn't anxiety about words. It's something older. Like leaving them out would cost you something real. The talking isn't the problem. The talking is the solution your body found to a problem it still thinks exists. That's what makes it so hard to stop. You've been told it's a communication problem, but your body learned this long before you knew what communication was. The question isn't how to say less. The question is why your body still treats every conversation like a negotiation. Your nervous system learned that silence gets punished, so it filled every gap with justification. Kolk's work on trauma shows that the body doesn't store experiences as memories. It stores them as instructions. When something threatening happened repeatedly, your nervous system wrote a rule: keep talking, keep explaining, keep the air filled, because quiet means something bad is coming. This is the fawn response. Not fight, not flight. Something subtler. You manage the threat by making yourself agreeable, readable, justified. The over-explaining isn't nervousness. It's a preemptive defense against the judgment you're certain is forming. Someone asks a simple question. Your body reads it as an interrogation. So you answer the question they asked, and the question they might ask, and the judgment they haven't made yet. The nervous system isn't wrong to run this pattern. It learned it for a reason, and somewhere in your history, there's the moment it first made sense. The body was doing its job. It just never got the memo that the job was done. You're not in that room anymore, but your body still answers like you are. It's a Tuesday evening. You're maybe 9 years old. You come home late from a friend's house. Before anyone asks, you're already explaining what time it was, whose fault, why you're not in trouble. You're talking before the door is fully open. The explanation wasn't dishonest. It was armor. You had already anticipated the silence that meant disapproval, the look that came before the lecture, the pause that felt like a verdict. So you talked first. You got there before the punishment could. The belief that formed, your unedited answer isn't enough. The first draft of you isn't safe to show. You need to pre-approve yourself before anyone else gets the chance to reject you. It came from evidence. That child was doing something intelligent, reading the room, protecting themselves with words because words were the only tool available. The shame isn't that you learned this. The shame dissolves when you see it clearly. That strategy worked then, but you're still running it in rooms that don't require it, with people who never asked you to defend yourself. The real question is, how do you know when you're doing it again? Defense disguises itself as detail. Here's how to tell the difference. Signal 1. You answer questions that weren't asked. Someone says you seem quiet and you explain your whole week. Inside, it doesn't feel like oversharing. It feels like the only way to make it stop. The original comment didn't require a trial. Signal 2. You keep talking after they've agreed. They said that makes sense, and you're still going. There's an urgency underneath it, like their words haven't reached the part that needs to hear them. The defense didn't register the verdict. Signal 3. You feel relief when they say no, I get it, not satisfaction. Relief, the kind that follows a threat passing. That feeling is the clearest signal. You weren't communicating. You were waiting for permission to stop. Recognizing the pattern is uncomfortable, but recognition is the first place the pattern loses its grip. Once you can name what's happening inside you, you have a fraction of a second before it runs. That fraction is enough. You don't have to earn the right to give a short answer. You're allowed to stop when the question is answered, not when you feel safe. Not when you've preempted every possible follow-up. When the question is answered, that's the entire permission you need, and you've had it the whole time. The next time you feel the pull to keep talking after a natural stop, pause. Not forever, just long enough to ask one question internally. Am I adding information, or am I adding armor? One of those serves the conversation. The other serves a threat that isn't in the room. When you practice stopping a done, something changes in the room. The other person doesn't fill the silence with judgment. They respond to what you actually said. And you start to learn, slowly and in real time, that the short answer was enough. The person in front of you didn't teach you that silence was dangerous. You don't owe them the defense you built for someone else. The conversation you're in right now is not the one that trained you to be afraid.